We are live.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all in the audience with us today to our Clayton County Board of Trustees meeting. My name is Dwayne Fagan, and I am the chair. And at this time, we're going to get started. We're very punctual on our time. We're going to have a call to order, and we're going to start off with our prayer. I have asked a dynamic woman in Clayton County to come and give us a word of prayer. Prayer is everything in our daily lives and the things that we must do. You always put God first in everything that you do, and I've said that more than one time. I met Pastor Skidmore back in December when it was freezing weather outside. She and her husband, also Pastor Skidmore, opened their doors to the homeless in Clayton County and sheltered them for some weeks until the weather was able to break for them to go back on their merry way. Pastor Skidmore is a dynamic woman. Not only just a preacher, but she's a songstress. She's a keyboard player. And somebody that I admire, because I've spent a lot of time in the band when I was in school. And so I just love music. And when I find someone that can read music and play, I'm just drawn to them. And so at this time, I'm going to ask Pastor Skidmore to come up from the Chapel Church in Jonesboro on Commercial Court on Carroll Boulevard. Pastor Skidmore.
Thank you so much. I first of all want to say that I appreciate this opportunity that Dwayne Fabian, when he reached out to me and asked me to come and pray over the meeting today and just give a word of encouragement. I don't take that lightly. I feel very honored to stand before you today. And he said that I could share just a little bit of what the Lord had been downloading into my spirit. I'm very passionate about this county. I was raised in this county. I went to elementary, GW North Cat, went to North Clayton Junior High, it's middle school now, I think, and then I graduated from North Clayton Senior High. So I'm very passionate about the county, and so I pray and ask God to bless our county. And the one thing that I want to share with you is from Philippians 4:13. Paul tells us in Philippians, he's writing the letter to the church in Philippi, and he says these words, that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And the fact is that working within the work, especially that you guys do, I think that sometimes it can be discouraging. Maybe you feel like nobody's listening, nobody's caring. You know, I see a lot of the social media and a lot of the posts and things, but I can tell you that you are making an impact within the county. And if you plant a seed that blesses one person, then that is one person that you've touched. And so I want to encourage you tonight or this evening to continue on with what you're doing. In Galatians 6:9, also Paul, he tells us to not be weary in our well-doing, for in due season, if you faint not, you're going to reap everything that you have sown. So don't ever think that what you're doing is just falling by the wayside and nobody's listening and you're not making a difference. You guys are making a huge difference. And I know from being a resident still today of Clayton County that I and my family appreciate the hard work that you do. And so I just want to encourage you to stay encouraged. Sometimes the word tells us that David had to encourage himself in the Lord. Sometimes there's no one there to give you that word of encouragement, but you can always go to the Word of God and you can open it up and you can find encouragement within that to continue doing what you do. So I thank you again for this opportunity. I'm going to bless this meeting in prayer. If you'll bow your heads. Father, I thank you today for each and every person that is represented here today that serves on this Board of Trustees for our Clayton County Library Systems. God, I pray that you would bless each and every one for the efforts that they have put forth in bringing this county to where it is today within this library system. God, I pray that this meeting tonight would be productive, that we would listen, each person would listen to each other, and God, that we would celebrate diversity, knowing that you can bring all of that diversity together to create a unity that can catapult this team to the next level. I thank you and I praise you for all that you are doing, all that you're going to continue to do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, Pastor Jim, let's get a photo with you here.
Yes. The board will come over for our photo. Looking around the banner right here.
Oh.
Yeah, more room.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, to the tall, all right. So if you can't see me, then I cannot see you. So much. All right, you ready to smile? 3, 2, 1, smile. I had to get my vertical picture. All right. Come on. 3, 2, 1, and smile. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we want to thank Pastor Skid Moore for that dynamic opening and the dynamic prayer for our souls. May our souls continue to walk with God. Our third item on the agenda is going to be our roll call. Madam Secretary, could you please announce the roll?
Yes, sir. Good evening, everybody. I'll call your name and if you'll just indicate present if you're with us this evening. Mr. Dwayne Fabian,
Present.
Herman Andrews, Siobhan Fleming, present. Salima Abdullah, present. Ebony Miller, present. Lauren Payne, present. Brenda Gutierrez, present. Mia Ballinger, present. Trina Cole, present. Quinn Lee, present. And Sharon Gates.
Present.
Come see.
Okay, Madam Secretary, do we have a forum?
Yes, sir, we do.
All right, moving right along, go to the next item on the agenda, which will be the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All right, properly moved, do I have a second?
Second.
Then properly moved and seconded by trustee, was that Ballinger? Both of you did it simultaneously.
Yes.
Okay, trustee Ballinger, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's unanimous. Moving to the next item on the agenda is going to be the approval of minutes from July 9th, 2024. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes from July 9th, 2024.
It's been properly moved. There is a second.
A second.
It's been properly moved and seconded by trustee Abdullah. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's unanimous. Next item on the agenda is going to be public comments. Madam Secretary, do we have any that signed up for public comments?
Yes, sir, we do.
What do we have?
We have Ms. Patsy Bohan, Diane Moore, and Cruz Sabas.
Okay, the Steeple hand, now you should come up, please, ma'am. I must say that Ms. Steeple hand is a faithful resident of Jonesboro. She's one of the former council members, and I find her at the library meeting with us today. Welcome you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and to speak on behalf of the city of Jonesboro. As a resident and a former council member for 13 years, the city is near and dear to my heart, and as most of you already know, it is the county seat. And in speaking on libraries, most people in the past 3 years, if they ever ask me to speak, they mostly speak on the loss of the Jonesboro Library. And that is what I am here this evening to speak to you about again. I realize that you as a board of trustees do not fund this library. And I know that those decisions go somewhere beyond your realm of being able to make that happen for us. I will tell you this, for those of you who do not know, the Jonesboro Library was the first Jonesboro Library in the county. It was built in 1966 on the corner of Smith and Lee Street. And it remained there until approximately 2 years ago, when our county commissioners made the decision to demolish it. For those of you who do not know why, it was because their intention at that time was to expand their administrative complex and build onto that property, was to take down the Jonesboro Library and then extend their building out to house more administrative business for the county. Since they do own that property, they have the prerogative to do what they wanted to. The unfortunate piece to that was that they did not confer with the city of Jonesboro before they made that decision. I found out accidentally in March of 2021 from Ms. Lett, whom most of you are familiar with, that during COVID, our library didn't open back up, all the others did. And I didn't understand why, so I asked her. And she said, I guess you haven't heard it's being demolished. Well, in March of 19th of 2021, I sent an email to Commissioner Davis, who's my commissioner, to ask him if he could explain to me why it was being demolished. And his response to me was very vague, as if he wasn't sure why or if it was being demolished. And I have emails here, I can leave it with you, without going into detail. And I asked if he could give me an explanation, because prior to that, the conversation had been had between Mayor Joy Day and Commissioner Turner, Chair, that there was going to be an upgrade to the Jonesboro City Library. Not a demolish, but an upgrade. Well, she was surprised when I told her what was going on. The rest of us were extremely surprised. And as time went on, they did not and even really confer with us anymore about what their decision was going to be. And after that, after getting little or no response, Commissioner Davis did get back with me, and he apologized for the delay. He said there were some structural and maintenance issues with the Jonesboro Library. We knew that because that's the reason we had asked for it to be rehabbed, do some work on the inside of it. It's the oldest library in the county. Can you just help us out? We were talking about going up instead of out, so it wouldn't take away from what they currently had. Well, that didn't happen. We also found out there was SPLOST money for a new library. We were hoping that Jonesboro was going to be the recipient of that SPLOST money. That didn't happen. So after all of that, and Mayor Day conferring, it was nothing, November 2nd meeting where the commissioners voted to demolish the Jonesboro Library. In that meeting, it was said that the roof needed to be replaced. It would cost $750,000 to replace that roof. I don't know the cost to build a new library, but I'm pretty certain it's bigger than $750,000. So they could have spent some money to put a new roof on a library that was much needed in the county seat to take care of the residents that live within the city of Jonesboro, who do not have access to a library, do not have the ability to get to a library. And that was a huge issue. We were also told that this new building they were going to build was going to have a component of a library. Their words, not mine, a component. When I asked what a component of a library was, it was more of a book drop, book pickup, book drop. Nothing to aid the community, our seniors, our youth who were looking for job development, to apply for any type of college application because they don't have internet service. So the library serves more than a book pickup and a book drop-off. And I know I am preaching to the choir right now. I get it. But this is just this one opportunity that I'm going to get to be able to explain to you the importance of it. I am currently, and have been the past 2-3 years, the chair of the board for Family University of Georgia. And when I say to you that Clayton County is in a book desert, it is absolutely the truth. Clayton County is in a book desert. The number of homes in Clayton County that do not have books or access to books, and we wonder why our children struggle. Not everybody has access to the internet, as our chairman, our commissioner chairman said. They don't need a library, they have the internet. They don't have the internet, they need a library. So, with all that being said, the decision was made, and sometime after that, I get a phone call early one morning from my dear friend Clea, who said Judge Wright was very concerned about me because there was a bulldozer on the grounds of the Jonesboro Library, and she thought maybe I had tied myself to the library. Well, I had not, but I did throw some clothes on, went running over there, and very fortunately, there was a female owner of the business who was very kind enough when I explained to her what that library meant, not just to me, what it meant to the residents in the city of Jonesboro to have that library. So with that being said, she allowed my husband and I to retrieve 150 bricks of the original library, which I have in my home. We plan to build a little free library out of it, since we have built several within the city of Jonesboro, and through Family University, we maintain a number of them. This is so important, this library. And if there's a way now, if we can, I know Dietrich is so tired, every time I'm in a meeting and Dietrich is present, he's like, please don't say library. But I have to, because I cannot say enough the importance of what this library is and was. But I do want, in closing, I do want to share with you something that was given to me by a dear friend who lived in the city of Jonesboro for a number of years. Her husband had a therapy office on North Avenue, Dan Saratella, Judy Saratella. Judy was a retired media specialist from Lovejoy High School. This is what she sent to Commissioner Franklin. I realize that you were busy. This was September 24th, 2021. I have received no response to my email. The courtesy of reply would be appreciated. I realize this email is lengthy, but it is my hope that you will not only read it, but also begin the process of renovating or building a new library for the city of Jonesboro. I am concerned about the library materials that have sat unused in a building without air conditioning heat for so many months. As a former Clayton County Jonesboro resident for over 40 years and as a longtime member of the Clayton County Library Board, I served as chair for many years. I am appalled and surprised that the county would not see the need to either renovate the current library on Smith Street or build a new facility. I was never in that library when it wasn't full of people of all ages, all ethnic groups, boys and girls, moms and dads, grandparents, students from nearby schools. What exactly is the thinking involved in not repairing the current building or constructing a new one? Why to step back to Jonesboro to not have a library in their bustling city? I have heard there will be a resource room in the basement of yet to be constructed county building, a resource room, and it will be open on Saturdays, late at night, with access to the internet, materials, licensed and certified libraries? Really? Probably not. Will a business want to locate in Jonesboro without a library? Will parents want to build, buy, rent a home in town without a library? Not me. Did you know that 54% of American adults are low literate? Did you know that public libraries provide free Wi-Fi, computers, reference, archive collection, job hunting tips, homework help, story times, language learning, magazines, newspapers, audiobooks, compassionate human connection? There are more public libraries than Starbucks in the U.S. A total of 16,568, probably add one more since the county built another one, including branches. Nearly 100% of public libraries provide Wi-Fi and have no-fee access to computers. There are 16,568 total libraries, including branches, in the U.S. per 2016. Libraries strengthen local economics. 84% of libraries offer technology training to patrons in computer software. 76.8% of libraries provide online health resources, and 60% offer programs to help Americans identify health insurance resources and get better informed on health topics. 73.1% of libraries provide programs that assist individuals apply for jobs, create resumes, and prepare for interviews. 97% of libraries help people complete online government forms. Libraries create healthier communities. 77% of libraries offer online health resources. 59% provide programs on finding health insurance. 58% provide programs to help people find and evaluate health information. 23% offer fitness classes. Libraries are the place for lifelong learning. 95% provide online homework assistance. 95% offer summer reading programs for children. Library access equals opportunity. 100% of public libraries offer access to the internet. 95% offer summer reading programs for children. Library access equals opportunity. 100% of public libraries offer access to the internet. 98% of public libraries offer free Wi-Fi. 90% help patrons with basic internet skills. 97% of the people complete online government forms. 9 out of 10 libraries offer access to ebooks. And I say all that to you, not because you don't know it, but sometimes statistics bring it home a little stronger. And through Family Literacy of Georgia, the part that we really reach out to is our ethnic responsibility to our marginalized groups within this county. That is our strongest thing that we look to. Our marginalized communities who do not have access to the internet, who rely on public libraries. It is critical. I'm going to close in saying that the county did make the decision to destroy, not demolish, destroy the City of Jonesboro Library. They didn't destroy our passion, but they destroyed the library. And in the end, they chose not to build their building. So we have an empty lot. We have an empty lot. So I'm hoping as I've been told, that one day they will find the funds, probably during the next floss, I'm hoping. So you guys have any ability to preach the word, thank you, Pastor, to preach the word. If you don't put it out there, it doesn't happen. To those who are in power, and I know we have a change of power coming. So just please let them know that electors are important. And again, I want to thank you very much for allowing me to speak on behalf of all the residents of the city of Jonesboro. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Patton. Madam Secretary, next.
Ms. Diane Moore.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you again on the subject that Ms. Pat just brought, but I'm not going to promise you that I won't cry. I began my career there in 1983. I was the children's person, the toilet cleaner, the housekeeper, the wood mender, whatever you call it. At that time, we didn't have individualized jobs. The director cleaned toilets. The director picked up trash outside. The director cleaned up vomit if she had to. All of us did everybody's job. We didn't have just separate little, we had our own little things. For instance, I was the children's person. I did the story times, I did the reading clubs, I did, the whole 9 yards for 8 years. But if I was called on to do something else, then you did it. The Jonesboro Library to me was more than a building. I know that there are people that have said, well, it was just a building. No, it was not just a building. It was like family. And, if you've ever lived in a home for 15, 20, 30, 40 years, or whatever, and then all of a sudden, life changes. And maybe you have to move into a nursing home, or you have to move in with the kids, or whatever. The place you are leaving, it's not just a building, it's not just a house. To you, it's a home. It has memories in that home. And that's the way that many, many of us felt about the Jonesboro Library. And I know, as the pastor said, and was talking about, you touch one life, I have a testament to that. There's a family that actually lived across the street from the Jonesboro, a piece of land that's now empty. Because like Pat said, nothing was ever built there. I mean, the city wiped out a building, but then they never did anything with the property. But there's a family that lives across the street. It's right behind the little market, whatever that's there. I was at Kaiser about 3 years ago. Actually, it was when we were having to wear the masks and everything. It's kind of hard for me, it was kind of hard to recognize some people without a mask, much less with one. So I'm sitting there, and this young man comes up, or this girl comes up, lady comes up to me. You worked at the library. You worked at Jonesboro. You worked at Jonesboro. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Who wants to, Her and her brother went to the Jonesboro Library as children, and they remembered me as being Miss Diane, the story time there. They're in their probably 30s now, 40s now. And I've got a mask on, and they still remember Miss Diane from that far back. And so if people say, well, things like this don't matter, they do matter. And when I heard that the building was going to be torn down, I'll never forget being at a restaurant one day, and Chairman Turner was there, and at one time he was my boss because he, was chairman of the Board of Commissioners. And this is before it was torn down, and I was talking to him, and I was just voicing my opinion and how important the library is, and, please, please, please reconsider. No, ma'am, that building is coming down, and it's coming down before I leave office. He looked me in the face, he said that before my husband and a table full of people. No, ma'am, that building's coming down. Nothing else may go up, but that building's coming down. Well, he got his wish. Miss Pat, I'll buy a brick from him. I'll buy a brick, I'm serious. Because the time I got there, it was half. And it was like, I'm serious, it's like I was having a funeral for a family member or something. It hurt. And I know you mentioned Mayor Day. She was with Lee Street School for many, many, many years and brought countless number of classes to, they would walk over from the school and she would bring like one class after another, for reading time or just to pick out books. And we also had kids that would come from across the tracks over there, that they loved the library. And I meet people constantly that I knew from, back then. I retired from here with 30 years. I actually stood behind this podium many times doing programs and so forth. But I retired from here with 30 years. And no place ever felt truly like home, if you can say that, than the Jonesboro Library. And now I wish you please, 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 like Ms. Pat said, I know you may not have, the ability to make the decisions and the approval for, new branch. But I was here when Mora was built. I went over there as assistant supervisor, then I was here as assistant supervisor. So I was here when Mara was built. I was here when the new library was built, the new Riverdale branch, the Lovejoy branch. And so now it's time for Jonesboro. The city of Jonesboro, yes, it has a lot of young adults moving in and so forth, but the city of Jonesboro is made up of a large majority of senior citizens, disabled folks, and so forth. You have citizens, like Pat said, you have senior citizens that would not even, and I know some person that could not tell you how to turn on a computer, much less be able to, go on a computer and listen to a book or whatever they need to do, or go in and if they had to fill out a job interview, they couldn't do it. Okay? My sister, she's 82, will not get a debit card. She writes out checks. Drives me crazy. You're in the store and she's got to write her check out. She does not want a computer. She doesn't want a debit card. So you have folks like that. You have folks that, cannot, like Pat said, that cannot physically drive there. They can't walk there. So please, please, if you have any chance in the future or whatever to replace it, but, to bring another library to the city of Jonesboro area, please consider that. And thank you for letting me vent.
Thank you.
I definitely felt that, Diane, and I remember your fight this past people and trying to get that library saved, and I was the one who thought I would see you on the news handcuffed, to that building. But I admire your fight, and I won't say much because we're on live, and I'm gonna always bring this up. If we have $559,000 to give to those buildings, then we could have had enough money to save that building. But before you all go, if you would, I'll get your numbers or whatever and come up with something, but I really felt that. And thank you so much for your strength, your courage, and don't you stop fighting, okay?
Oh, thank you.
That's it.
Madam Secretary.
Okay, yes, and Corey Chavez.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I wanted to say that before I got married. My name is Kareem Shabazz. I'm a retired U.S. Navy veteran. 15 years. On board the USS Nassau, ship housing about 15,000 people. 3,000 of which are Marines. I'm an author of a very compelling book like that. I mentioned the fact that I was in the military break because I traveled around the world. I've been to Spain, France, Portugal, and Japan twice. I became relatively fluent in speaking Japanese. I would say konnichiwa, but you may not say please want that. I'll say that. I was also in Israel for quite some time, at a city called Haifa, Israel. And throughout my military experience, there were some common themes that I decided one day that was on the bucket list I wanted to write down. And so that's why I'm here today. I want to thank me and Donald for allowing me to tell me about this opportunity to share this with you. This is a book that just came out Juneteenth. It's a book about racism. The name of this book is called Ring Around the Collar. Now this title might ring a bell for some of you that's young enough to remember a commercial that used to be out a long time ago. You've heard of the Whisk detergent, some of you remember that? I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. And I remember this commercial used to always be on TVs promoting Whisk. You used to say, ring around the collar, ring it. Does anybody remember that? She's okay.
I have some of those.
Okay. So who would have ever thought as a little kid I would remember that? And then as life progressed, I began to make some connections. And I began to make the connection between the dirt that would be staining the shirts and collars of men and spouses of women. That dirt now has transformed and now it represents some of the racism that still has impacted so many people. I mentioned my military background because it served as a platform for me to draw from a lot of observations. I'll make this very short. When I was stationed with the Marines, we were in Japan. And I'm just going to share this with you really quickly. Coming from Brooklyn, New York is, many of you know, a very cosmopolitan city, right? It's a melting pot of the world. But I also lived quite a bit of my adolescence in a small city, very historic city, Selma, Alabama. So I have some relatives in my family that were on that bridge March 7th, 1965, with Hosea Williams, John Williams, Hosea Williams, I'm sorry, what they call Bloody Sunday. So I'm shaking a little bit because I'm remembering as a child, I was 6 years old. And so I remember what my foreparents were going through. And as a youngster, I was always, my mother used to say, son, you got 2 ears. One in the right, one in the left. You got 2 eyes. Pay attention. So even as a youngster, I wasn't able to articulate things like I can now, but I was taking notes. And so this book that I share with you today is a book that I hope that you would strongly consider adding to your library. It's a book that is very, very compelling, very insightful. It took about 10 months for me to write this book. And when I finished writing it, I sent it out to different professors and scholars around the country that I didn't even know. And I got 2 thumbs up from all of them. Some of them as far as even Harvard University. One of them, her name is Dr. Donna Hicks. Now, many of you remember Archbishop Desmond Tutu. When Archbishop Desmond Tutu was very involved and engaged in addressing the apartheid system in South Africa, Professor Donna Hicks from Harvard University was one of his close accomplices to help address and deal with matters there. She was one of the first ones that when I sent this book, and her review is actually in the back as well as on the inside, she said, Kareem, basically, I don't know where you got this from, but she said, basically, your analysis, your observations are keen and smart. So again, I encourage you, Ring Around the Collar is a book that you would want to add to the library and add to the system. Right now, it's like I said, it's on Amazon. It's a paperback, it's a hardback, it's a Kindle. There's an audio book that's also being done right now as we speak of. And I just wanted to thank you for this opportunity to share that with you. And that's it.
All right.
If you have any questions, I'd like to leave a copy if I can.
You can leave one. You can leave it. Sure. Just leave it right now. All right, thank you so much. Madam Secretary, do we have any more public comments?
No, sir, that's all.
All right, well, we're gonna move on to our agenda with the director's report.
Good evening. Good evening. How are we doing this evening?
Great.
Good, good. Glad to see a full room. Thank you all for coming. We usually don't have this many participants and public comments and just those coming by to visit, so welcome. As I usually start out, I like to give kudos and appreciation and thanks to my staff. Without the Clayton County Library staff, we couldn't do the wonderful work that we do day in, day out. So again, thank you all for staff. A couple of highlights for the month of July. Just want to quickly touch on. Well, actually, this is not a highlight for July. I want you to save the date. You may have received an email, an invitation for a retreat. Yes, hands, yes, maybe.
Yes.
I will see everyone who can possibly, yes. Great, wonderful. I'm back to my teaching days, so. It's going to be a wonderful event. We are bringing together this board, our new foundation board, and our friends of the library together, first time ever that I understand, so that we can strategize how 3 separate supporting organizations can work on behalf of one library system. So we are very excited about this opportunity and welcome all of you to come. And hopefully your schedules will allow you to be there. So save the date. 30th of August, Friday before Labor Day. Get you out early, have a weekend, Monday off, and have a great time. Fantastic. You may realize that we did not have coffee with the librarian this month. We had a special guest and the guest had to reschedule due to a conflict. So we had another guest in the works, but we felt, let's give it a break for a minute. We'll reconvene next month. So we're still trying to hone in on a person that we can come have a nice conversation with and share some information for the community. So stay tuned on that. You may know each quarter, you may or may not know that as part of my responsibility to the county and the board, I am to present to the Board of Commissioners as well as to citizens of Clayton County what's called a quarterly performance review. So essentially how the library system has done for the previous quarter. So we just finished up quarter 4 for FY24, and the county has created this nice little booklet which gives a breakdown of all of the departments and their year-end reviews for their departments. And I only have 2 copies. I think they have one at the Board of Commission office, but there's a nice picture of me reading to you. Self-serving, but a nice picture of I read to I think an elementary class. But again, it details how well we've done, or again, on the flip side, how challenges, or some of the challenges that we face and how we work to resolve those challenges. So you get a chance to grab one of these, or if you're at the DOC building next time, see if they have some more copies for you. Moving along, we've had a very spirited, emotional conversation about Jonesboro and rightly so. I do want to pivot a little bit to Riverdale. We mentioned before that we are undergoing a renovation and expansion program for the Riverdale branch. So the courtyard that we are filling that in with usable program space. So we will have a much larger meeting room, a dedicated team room, a makerspace room in that area. And so we have been meeting with the architect and county contractors for the last several weeks on honing in on a design for that. And we got real close yesterday, was it? Yesterday. And then some new ideas came in, some fresh ideas. So once we have the overall layout of that courtyard and the proposed renovations to it, we can share those with you. Real excited though. We won't be able to utilize the entire courtyard, which is about 6,000 square feet. So just shy of 4,000 square feet. So we still will have a little bit left over for an outdoor classroom component or something along those lines. So there was mention of an internship in one of the previous reports. We had some high school students who were doing internships at the branches. I just received an email yesterday that that program will start back up. And so pretty soon, hopefully we'll have a slate of candidates and we will interview the candidates and we will have them placed in the branches to help with us for hopefully the school year since we're just starting. And we actually hired one of the young men who graduated and who was an intern, so we are very excited about that. We are building and breeding our own, so we're very excited about that. That's it as far as my updates. Are there any questions or comments?
Yes, I have a comment and I do have a question.
Yes.
The comment is that, of course, I want to thank Ms. Seaman for her commitment by coming in and sharing her feelings about the Jonesboro Library, but also moving into my comment is that I'm continuing to see different posting on social media about the positive move that the library is making. And so this would not happen if it was not for your leadership skills, where you have both staff and their staff and the employees who follow in their footsteps. So it's a job well done.
Thank you.
And also, now, the question pertaining to the interns now. Upon getting the intern, that's going to be all up to the end of the school year, and then you should make a selection for those you want to hire.
That's what we did this last go round with the interns. Something that's new this time, we're getting the full school year. Last time they came in mid-year, and they were only with us for a short portion of time. So we're very excited to be able to have them for the entire academic year. And again, if you're well qualified, and they want, because we offered, we have limited part-time positions, but we definitely offer what was available, and we're fortunate enough to have one come here accept the position. I can't wait till you turn 18, but yeah, things worked out.
Good. That's all the questions I have. Anybody have any questions?
Just a reminder, if you could, don't forget to put the special needs on our radar, special needs programs if possible. Also, this is in no way to endorse any candidate, any political party, but if we do any voter registration here, I'm not sure.
We have a whole slew of activities coming up: voter registration, voter education, and it will be held at each branch.
And one nice thing, we had a free haircuts, and I was hoping the library would show up and set up, but I guess that was my fault. I didn't reach out to you all to come on time, so maybe I apologize for not reaching out, but I was just a little disappointed, but it's okay.
But we did put your flyer on
Yes, I
all of our
saw that.
social
Thank
media and
you.
everything,
Thank
but
you.
I didn't know
That
if you
probably
wanted
was
us
my
to
fault.
set up with a table.
Yes, but that's it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just had a quick question about the internships. Are they only high school interns or are you looking for college interns?
Right now, the program through the county is for high school students. If we do have any college students who are interested in an internship, it would be an unpaid internship. The program with the county is actually a paid internship for high school students.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda will be the financial report. Financial
We had a
report.
sidebar.
That's all right.
Our new budget. we have received our FY 2025 budget, closed out 2024. And as you see, we are just in the midst of spending the budgets that the branches have, headquarters has. You may take notice that for all the branches, other minor equipment line, we no longer have that budget this year due to budget constraints. So we will be monitoring our spending very closely. We just aren't afforded the budget that we had last year. And hope that subsequent years moving forward, that line item will be reinstated and our finances will be better. So, are there any questions?
Can you restate, I'm sorry, can you restate which line item again? I'm sorry.
Yes, it's other minor equipment.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Director. In light of what just happened last week for commissioners, the tax increase, does this have any effect on us at all?
No. Unfortunately, it has an effect, well, I take that back. It's an indirect effect on families that actually use this. But another reason why we're here. When budgetary limitations are as they are, public libraries are at the root of the community. As some of the statistics were read out earlier, the services that we provide at no cost for taxpayer funded already, but we're able to then supply those resources in turn at no cost. All it takes is a library card. So,
Are there any questions? All right, I'd like to make a motion, I have a motion to approve the director's financial report.
I move that. You made the motion.
No, I'm asking to make a motion.
I move that we accept the executive.
It's been properly moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Gates. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? It's unanimous. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, moving right along, next item on the deputy director's report.
All right, good evening. Good evening. We have had such an exciting month last month, but the whole summer has been really exciting. And so the Clayton County Library System provided a wide range of exciting performers during the summer that were enjoyed by people of all ages. So if you were a fan of music, storytelling, interactive presentations, there was something for everyone. And so one thing we don't take lightly is that it's summertime, you could have chosen to be anywhere else, but you chose to be with us, and we thank you so much for that. And now that school is back in, where did the summer go? So school is back in, but we attended a lot of outreach events. One highlight with outreach events, we want to make sure that we're in the community, that we're educating parents, family, everyone about the different resources that we have to offer. So we got a chance to attend several, but one was the highlight was the Head Start Back to School parent meeting. So there was over 400 participants. So we got a chance to engage in the community, and a lot of people signed up for library cards. Remember, summer is over, but we still have programs throughout the year. So if you go to our website, www.claytonpl.org, you can click on a calendar of events and you can see what we're offering at each location. So the adult program department last month held 135 programs. That's a lot of programs. We are planning, we're surveying after each program to make sure what it is that the community wants to see, because that drives us as to how we plan what the community wants to see. We're gonna make sure that we meet the needs. So out of the 135 programs, we had 1,284 participants, and that was for adults. For youth services, we had 105 programs, and that was 2,812 participants. And this included resources, services. As you know, we partnered with many organizations, one in particular, Goodwill of North Georgia, wanting to make sure that families are getting out there working. And so Goodwill actually has an upcoming job fair with the South Clayton Recreational Center, August 21st. And so please definitely attend. Also, we had Vision to Learn. Children were able to get glasses. And this was for all of our branches, Help a Child Smile, Dental, Band. So we want to make sure that any of the resources that we're bringing to the community, because this is what we do. We want to connect everyone. And so we have a wonderful outreach team. So you will see us everywhere. And so we thank you so much for just being supportive of the library, because we know that you could have chosen to be anywhere, but you're here with us. And our families have been here with us, and we want to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the families. And so we do, just as Director Pam said, we thank our staff, because our staff really are dedicated and passionate about the work that we do. And so we thank you so much for everything. As far as building and maintenance, our IT department, a lot of our county departments, they have partnered with us to make sure that we're taken care of, to make sure that our buildings, we know that we have older facilities, but they need upkeep. Our building and maintenance team is absolutely wonderful. For the month of July, we had 39 work orders, and this is all over for all 6 branches. 20 were resolved. And you may say, well, what happened to the other work orders? 5 work orders needed additional parts to be ordered. And then we had external contracting companies that were handling the other 5. And then building and maintenance actually are working on 9 work orders. So when we put the report together, we had some outstanding, but actually half of these work orders have been completed. So they are really working with us. And so we thank them. We thank our IT department that worked with us. Director Pierre mentioned that we were upgrading our printers. All branches have new printers, and they're fast. It's wonderful what technology can do. So we're very excited about just being here, just serving the community. We're very passionate about it. Does anyone have any questions for my report?
I don't have a question, but I wanted to make a comment. I was at Northwest a couple of Saturdays ago, and just had a general conversation with a couple of ladies, one didn't know the other. And when I spoke about the tutoring service, I said, you know what, the library does offer tutoring. She said it does. And so when I took it to one of the employees, staff members, the staff member jumped on it. After she was conversing with the staff member, I went on about my business within the library, and another young lady wanted to know how to obtain a Pines card, so same thing. Well, the lady who initially was talking about the tutoring, she came and said, I want to thank you so much. I didn't know yet the library offered this program. I said, I am really happy that this has actually going on. So the program is working. They just get it out there to the folks who don't know about it, especially getting into the schools. It's just going to really make itself work. And so it cannot be that way if it wasn't for the staff.
Yes.
And so we do appreciate it. The second thing that really don't want to call the trustee out, but I'm gonna let her speak in her own words, and that's trustee Miller. When she sent out a note a few Saturdays ago when she went into an establishment, I'm gonna let her take it from there.
My phone is dying. I was getting my hair done, and you can see it needs to be done again at a salon. And just so happened to be sitting in there, and I cannot remember the names, my phone's about to die, so I'm sorry, y'all. If you guys see it in the group, help me out. But was just in the salon, and I had on my Clayton County t-shirt, and she was like, oh, I love the Clayton County library, and I cannot remember which one it was, so I'm so sorry that I don't have the exact name. But named people that were in there, and that were super helpful, and works actually at the Rollins Center, and does that particular partnership with Clayton County, and so just doing really great stuff, and I appreciate that. Thank you for giving me that, because that had been a while, and I missed the last one, so did want to have that. Also, just wanted to, with working in the school systems myself, and hearing that vision to learn and have the child smile is also being partnered with the library is amazing to see, because what you're doing is you're catching the people that the school system is not catching, and that's exactly what the partnership in the community and the library should do. So thank you for that.
And I found it in.
Thank you. I was like, I couldn't answer me and my phone's about to die.
So she was giving kudos to Marsha Kane, Marisha, and Rebecca James.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
great job to those.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
I have a question. You mentioned about the job fair.
Yes, it is at the South Clayton Recreational Center. It's the Lovejoy Library hosting the job fair, and it's on August the 21st from 10 to 2. And then I wanted to mention a couple of other points. The annual report, and you may ask, what is the annual report? The Georgia Public Library Service collects and analyzes data from Georgia Public Libraries to highlight the values of their programs and services. And so right now, on staff, we are completing this report, and it's an online report. And it's due around September 6th, but we will be done well before. And so this will highlight all of our program activities. It will highlight some of the reading challenges, our circulation numbers. And so we're currently working on that. And then I forgot about Staff Development Day. For everyone that was at our Staff Development Day last year, it is coming up very soon, October 14th, which is Columbus Day, Indigenous People Day. And so this is an opportunity for employees to enhance their skills, knowledge, and professional growth. And so this is a full day. You all will receive your invitations very soon. And so we're very excited about it. It was very successful last year. And we always poll the staff to see what is it that they want to learn about and incorporate that in the Staff Development Day. And then we do have some conferences coming up. We always promote professional development. We also have a website where everyone can get their professional development training. So you can do that virtually or go in person. And so Director Karen and I will be attending the Georgia Public Library Fall Directors Meeting next month. And then Rebecca James, our Assistant Director of Youth Services, will be attending the National Institute Conference of the Association of Library Services to Children. Oh, yes. And we also participated this past Saturday in self-defense class. You know, you remember before, we went on a tour, and, you know, security has been kind of a challenge, and you can read about that in the book, the quarterly performance book, but we're making strides toward rectifying that. But one thing is we got a chance to attend a self-defense class. And this is Clayton County Police Department. So it was at their headquarters. It was absolutely amazing. And so they got a chance to give you some tactics, some things to use just in case something's happening. And as you go out to your neighborhood, the store, anything, you can use this. So what we want to do is not only do we provide the resources for the community, but we want to do it for staff as well. We want to make sure that we're meeting our needs as well. So that was excellent.
Well, I like to add, I may be retired, but the muscle memory still works. So if you need that self-defense course, let me know. Any other questions? All right, thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, next item on the agenda is going to be the committee reports. All right, we're going to start off with the advocacy committee. And Madam Secretary, what do we have on the advocacy committee?
I need to confirm, but I believe it's Ms. Gutierrez. Are you on that? Okay.
Yes.
And I believe it was one other person. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, do you have anything to report?
Nothing to report, but just, Madam Secretary, if you could, if it's not so much for you, If there are some events, if you could send me a calendar invite, I do live off of my calendar, that you may want us to go to or participate, because sometimes I tend to see them later on social media, but I'm also looking on their website.
Okay,
Yes,
absolutely, yes.
thank you.
And speaking of getting things on your calendar, I just want to point out they're a new business, but just to call them out. The meet and greet is coming up on Thursday, the 29th. That's going to be hosted here in the evening. And then obviously the retreat the director talked about on Friday, August 30th, the Still Case Work Life Center.
Okay, now, I'm gonna talk about the meet and greet just a minute as soon as we get there. Thank you so much. Okay, next item, we have the bylaws committee.
Ms. Miller, would you move the finance committee?
No, I second for the time.
Finance, okay, I believe that one.
Oh. Where did I? Alright. Y'all.
What would you like to be?
I know I signed up for one, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But I have nothing to report.
Okay.
So we're gonna make it official, so you all want to be on the bylaws committee?
I will, yes.
Okay.
I think that is where
I think
Okay, so, I'm sorry, go ahead. Okay, the new trustee of Builders for the bylaws as well.
Say that again?
Trustee of Builders.
Oh, okay, perfect, thank you, thank you.
Okay. The next item we have is the finance committee.
That committee is open, I believe Ms. Gates is interested, but we aren't sure just yet, are we still thinking, or?
I'm thinking towards advocacy, but I mean, if, I'll go wherever I'm needed, but advocacy is more of mine.
Your preference?
Yes.
Okay.
But if I'm needed or finance, I'm open.
Well, I think we are open to discuss at this time to kind of place people in a few spots and go from there. So yes, we would like for people to be where they have a passion, and so, yes, if your preference is one or the other, we'll definitely go with that.
Well, I prefer advocacy.
Okay. I don't want to make anybody go with it. But we do want to fill them all, so. Finance committee, don't everybody jump on it at once, but we definitely want to.
I'm sorry, I did mention before that if there's a need, I would join the finance committee, but I don't have much of a background in finance. I'm not sure if I'm able to do my job correctly, but I would join the committee. But I don't know if I'm able to do this by myself.
We give you a copy of the bylaws, and it's something simple, it's not much at all, and I'm conversing with Director Parr anyway, so. She said that you will be okay?
I will be okay.
Okay, all right, well, we can scratch bylaws, I mean, the finance committee off.
Oh,
And
okay.
she said it's okay, we can scratch that off.
I think if there are any issues that come up with the finances, it will be brought to the board, and then we can discuss and try to bring resolution.
All right, I'm not gonna ask for a motion on every, before we scratch that out. But, trustee Lee, what other committee you like to serve on? Of course, we have the advocacy and we have the bylaws.
Right? I did lean towards the advocacy.
Okay. All right, which leave, trustee Melanie, I need one tonight. I need one tonight, no 90 days.
I know, well, my schedule is just so conflicting that I want to be able to commit, and at this time I would not be able to commit, so that would be my only issue.
Well, on the advocacy, which means we're going around to 6 different branches, the branches is 9 to 9 until times change. So anytime between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., you stop into a branch and say, hello, everything's okay. That's part of advocacy. The bylaws committee is making rules. Now, let me just add that upon signing up for the board, it says in the bylaws that the trustee must commit. You have a serious commitment, so I need you to.
Commit to this.
Mm-hmm.
So you say advocacy or finance or advocacy, I would go towards advocacy because,
All right,
And pardon me, I did omit the at-large position we have Ms. Cole on.
yes.
So did you have anything you want to share this evening or not at this time?
No, not at this time,
Okay.
because that's more of a, is it more of a summary of the reports from the various committees? Is that what it is?
In a nutshell. Yeah, so that's good, thank you.
All right. Yes.
I can go to the bylaws, so kind of to even it out,
Mhm.
because it seems like it's more
Yes.
advocacy people. So I would be willing to, work on the bylaws committee.
All right, thank you, ma'am, I appreciate that.
And you can serve on more than one if anybody's feeling ambitious to serve in two capacities.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Briefly. The bylaws committee, we recently passed some bylaws. So unless, again, there are some major changes, there probably won't be much work that needs to be done regarding the bylaws. Again, unless something really drastically changes and we have to go back and punt, but that committee should be, have some free time.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The only one, if I may, the only one that's going to really have any teeth in it would be the advocacy. Now, like I said, going to all 6 branches, and I'm saying that we go to all 6 branches in 1 month. You go to Morrow 1 month, go to Lovejoy 1 month, and just stick your head in and see if you have to say, well, what you observed and how happy they are in these different branches. So,
And there are other opportunities. BOC meetings.
Yes.
Strongly encouraged to attend the BOC meetings. There are other statewide meetings. And just as you're at the grocery store, the dry cleaner, promote the library. So, and the statement about visiting the branches, we'll have a conversation about the effort that's more coordinated.
yes.
We don't want to frighten branches.
Right.
Send forward and then show up and then have different boards. We'll make sure they coordinate.
What was that?
If she had anything on the advocacy committee, exactly what all it entails, what all. Is that okay with you all?
So maybe the advocacy committee can have a meeting, because there's so many really great things that can be done, whether it's visiting schools as well, resource events, et cetera. So it's a lot to that committee, so the larger participation is actually a good thing, actually. Yeah.
It sounds like we also we also need to just make sure our US members have a copy of the bylaws, the most updated bylaws.
Okay, say that one more time.
I'm sorry. Making sure that everybody has a copy of the
Yes.
bylaws. That's,
Yes.
okay, I just want to make sure.
If anyone needs another copy, I'll be happy to email that over.
Oh, sure.
It was originally in the email that I received. And let me just touch on that, please. And I'm not trying to be condescending. I ask that us check our email at least an hour, only hour, once every 2 hours, because you never know when something comes over that is important that needs to have a response. That was the reason that I wanted to, I'm not going to take the credit for it, but I gave Trustee Cole that wanted to get this group meeting checked. So by doing that, for those who will check the emails constantly, if you see that chat come through, then you know that there's an email that's waiting for you, to reply to. So I just ask that moving forward, that let's check our emails in an hour or 2 hours throughout the day to make sure that you don't have anything that's pressing that needs to be announced to the director or to the Board of Commissioners. Okay, let's move into unfinished business, and on the unfinished business, we have the board members training, and I'm going to refer to Director Parham on that.
Okay. So it's generally customary, especially when we have new board members, that we have quite a number of brand new board members. that we have training that is provided by the state library or the Georgia Public Library Service. So Mr. Ben Carter, who is one of the assistant state librarians, usually conducts that board training. And we are looking at some dates now. We understand that Monday through Friday option may not be available due to work schedules. So we're looking at something on a Saturday. So once we have some Saturdays identified, we'll send that out to the board, and whoever can make the Saturday, we would strongly encourage them. He does a very good job of setting expectations for board members, the delineation between what the board is responsible for versus what I'm responsible for. And so there are, of course, touch points, but he also makes it very clear that certain things are board only. Certain things are my responsibility. And it is you all's charge to make sure that I do my job on that board. And so it's a great time. And if you have any questions regarding your role with the board, that would also be a great time to raise those with him. He does a fantastic job with that board training.
Okay, do you think about what the month is going to based on his schedule?
It will be based on his schedule. He will be presenting at the retreat, so I will have his ear. So hopefully shortly thereafter, maybe September sometime.
So we should have an answer, at our next board, well, at,
I don't want to promise,
okay,
but once I get with him and hone in on his calendar, we'll do that.
all right, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, the next unfinished business is going to be the ethics disclosure form. How many have turned their forms in to the ethics?
How was that supposed to be done? Was that mailed to us?
Yes, no, you should have had it last year.
I know, that's why I'm like, it's kind of showing that to be different. So I probably already have that.
So you know they did it last year?
I don't remember doing this, but I also don't remember receiving it. So
Okay.
it might have been done already.
Well, we'll do, because we will fill another one out.
Thank
and,
you.
And I'll check with Ms. Rushton.
I
to make
think
sure.
that.
Okay. Just give it to me now.
And I'm available to notarize the form, so if you want to do that and come see me and I'll notarize you.
You want to do it in the water?
Sure, yeah, whenever you get a second.
Okay, I'm going to the new business. The record spoke about the meet and greet. The meet and greet is something that I would like to do with our neighboring counties, just under the Pine system, and the neighboring counties, Fayette County, Henry County, Rockdale County. Of course, those board members in those counties don't know us and we don't know them. And coming from my previous employment, it was a thing that it's still ongoing as of the state. It's called Hands Across the Border. And you would ask if it was Hands Across the Border. Well, the law enforcement agency of Georgia will go across the border to South Carolina to meet those law enforcement agencies over there. Same thing for Florida, same thing for Alabama, same thing for North Carolina, Tennessee. And so it's working in, it's collaborating with each other. So it may be happening in Georgia here at the state line goes into the neighboring state. That neighboring state will go get that person and help Georgia out. So the demographics of law enforcement is still upheld in both states. And the same thing for the state here. So I say, well, I don't know anybody in Fayette County. I don't know anybody in Henry County. I don't know anybody in Rockdale County. Let's do a hand across the county. Let's do a meet and greet with these board of trustee members. And so they can know who we are. We can exchange information. They may not have something that is dynamic in their library. We may not. We may have something that's dynamic in our library. And as you can see, we got some dynamic things going on because we got the proper leadership. And then we can reach out to them and say, hey, look, this is what we have going on. And so I came up with this concept to say, let's do a meet and greet. And I would like to have all of us to be there if possible. And that's why I had it set up at 6:30. So Director Parham and his staff can come and we meet over at the Northwest Library and just meet one another, have a few words, and then we can go home. So in saying that, everyone is on board with that? You know what?
Yes, yes, very much, a great idea.
And so is the day and time conducive to everybody? Okay.
What time?
6:30 PM on the 29th.
And
And
also
also,
scheduled to work at 6 PM to 7 AM, 6:45.
gotcha, okay.
I mean, if you can't make it, I mean, I understand, I mean, but that
We
is.
just wanted to get ahead, y'all, so you
Yeah.
Whatever so works.
I think I responded to the email sent out that I put on my agenda.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
But I'll be there.
Okay.
It's on my calendar.
Okay.
Rick, probably want to talk to you about.
Thank you.
I think everything's been discussed.
Okay. And, he's agreed to, defeat us.
Oh,
Oh,
wonderful.
Everybody like popcorn?
Cheddar, please. Cheddar, please.
Okay, next item will be the amnesty day, you want to stick on that?
Yes, last year, the several days leading to Thanksgiving, we offered our first or my first amnesty event. And we are proposing to do it again this year, and I plan to make it annual. What it was last year was an opportunity to give thanks to our citizens and our patrons. So those that had materials that were still checked out and were open to, we invited them to come in, return the materials, and we waived their fines. It was as simple as that. And we had over 100 unique card holders participate last year. We've received over 600 items, 1,500 items. And we forgave over $600 in fines. And so I consider that a successful first attempt at an amnesty event. And again, I would like to make this an annual event. So it will have to go before the Board of Commissioners, so it will be on a further agenda or one of the meetings, but I just want to give you all an advance notification of that.
Okay. All right, what else? Same thing, holiday hours.
Holiday hours, yes. The holidays are coming up, and we have been asked, the library system has been asked to get with Parks and Recreation as well as the Senior Center to come up with a coordinated schedule of opening hours or holiday hours for all three departments. So I'll be working with the directors of those two departments to devise what days will be open and closed for the holidays. So stay tuned on that.
Okay, although it's not on the agenda, and that's my mistake, Madam Secretary, you want to speak about the shifting because of the voting process coming up?
The shifting of
From
locations.
here to location, yes.
Right. Anytime we have elections being held here at headquarters, we will have to move to another location. And fortunately, we've been able to go to the Northwest branch. They have more meeting space, and so they can accommodate us for when there's a conflict like that.
So we look at October and some in November.
I'll have to get the exact dates for the election.
I think early voting starts in October, I believe.
Correct.
Okay, we spoke about the retreat, revising the hours.
Yes. I really wasn't supposed to be here tonight. I was in Perry, Georgia earlier for a new director's orientation, and I'll have to drive back once I get finished here. I was supposed to have been on the agenda to present the VOC's work session, a proposal to modify the operating hours for the library system. Last year, this board, a lot of past board members voted and approved the proposal to modify the operation hours of the library system. I now have to go before the Board of Commissioners to make that same proposal. And so that was supposed to happen this evening. There was a glitch where I was not on the agenda, so it will go on September's agenda. So I did again want to give you a heads up for those who are new to the board. But the previous board voted and approved the modification for operating hours.
Did you say what that modification was, or I didn't understand? Is it a secret?
I would prefer to share that not live stream.
Okay.
Yes, not until I've had a chance to present it to the board of commissioners.
Okay, and the last thing, legislative.
It's still waiting on a date. The last couple of years, we have hosted the state legislative delegation at the Northwest Library. And we intend to host the same meeting this year once we get a date for that. Wonderful, wonderful opportunity to come out and advocate on behalf of not just Clayton County, but libraries across the state. We had representatives, senators, who attended, pretty much everyone that shows up. It's a wonderful place to get everyone in one place at the same time. So once we have that date, we will send it out and encourage, again, whoever's available to please show up, show out, attend, and support libraries and library staff across the state.
And I'll piggyback off of that. I know I'm asking a lot for our trustees, but this is our time to shine. Really eligible delegation on behalf of our library to make sure that hopefully we can get some things that they actually need, and they do need some things here. They can't do it by themselves, but that's what the board of trustees is what we are there for. So when the date comes out, I hope it'll fit your calendar, your schedules, that you can come out. I know that I have the luxury of being retired, I keep working to give me my check, you know. But I know that I will be there on behalf of the library to advocate for them. And after that is going to be it. But before I adjourn, I would like to welcome, well, actually, let me say, we have a full board now. We have 11. And then I'd like to welcome our 2 new trustees. We have trustee Salima Abdullah and trustee Sherry Gates. Trustee Abdullah, say a few words for me, please, ma'am.
I'm trustee. I'm happy to be here.
We will.
Yes, 24-year educator, 13 years with Clayton County. So I have passion and literally since I did something all day children. So continue to do great work. I love to hear all the ones who there's a library. I know Clayton County has wonderful libraries. Thank you.
We have many hats she's wearing on her side over there. Trustee Gates.
I would like to thank you all for the appointment to this board. I was, or am, a resident that has utilized many of the adult programs in Clayton County. Been a resident for 25 years. I'm always talking about how much I love my library system. It's just all over my Instagram page about how much I love my library system. So I am thrilled to be on this side of it, although I still plan to participate in all of the wonderful programs that the Clayton County Library has provided for me.
We look forward to seeing you.
Okay, well, no further ado, any other discussions?
Executive session.
Any executive session?
No, we need to ask.
Is there a need for it? Is there a need for executive session? Thank you. Hearing none? Is there a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly seconded by trustee Ballinger. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, unanimous. Good night. Thank you all.
Are we giving